This is the text-to-speech audio version of The Observer by Philosopher. To read the full article, including analysis of trends we're observing and other content, or to join the conversation, check us out on Substack at darkphilosopher.substack.com or on Twitter at Observer Trends or anywhere podcasts are broadcast. Article title: Finding Bitcoin. Article subtitle: Lessons Learned and Looking Ahead. My experience. It was early April or so of 2010 when I first saw the word Bitcoin used in a sentence. Buried deep in an unrelated forum, which has long since been archived or deleted, one anonymous user slung an insult at another. An insult that changed my entire perception of the future of humanity. Quote, "You sound like one of those Bitcoin people. They so casually spit." No response was given by the target, and no further mention was found. Immediately I was curious, so I Googled what is Bitcoin and found zero relevant results across the first and second page of indexed websites. Slang. Regional language. Some coded phrase I couldn't understand. I had no idea. Fast forward to late 2010, BTC price less than 1 cent. Here is where I discovered the now not so famous Bitcoin talk forums. A forum I would spend a considerable amount of time lurking on, and later, my data was hacked along with most of its user base, which wasn't relevant as I usually used fake names and unrelated usernames wherever I traveled across these deep webs. A side effect of being a habitual deleter who shirked followers and fans more quickly than clingy girlfriends. Before this point, most people who follow economic topics have heard of or played with gold and other such technologies. I love technology of all sorts, and therefore I'm always willing to try something new and hopefully learn something. Bitcoin presented for its first users something fascinating to the intellect: peer-to-peer decentralized money. A ridiculous sort of concept, then, but fascinating to deconstruct and reconstruct intellectually, applying its potential across various digital and analog sectors. Quote, "I think the Bitcoin white paper is one of the most seminal works of computer science in the last 20 to 30 years. It's poetry." Jack Dorsey, 2019. At the time, I barely had a clue what I was looking at. All I knew was this technology was different. It had fascinating properties, and it was the first of what could be many versions. A critical mistake and oversight of mine at the time. Fast forward to mid to late 2011. BTC price, $1 to $30. I still remember watching Bitcoin hit parity with the US dollar. I took my girlfriend out at the time to celebrate. Bitcoin was now a currency, or so I thought. I was determined to try this new technology. With a budget just north of $1,000, I purchased the cheapest pots I could and built my own PC. In the event this wasn't a secure network or my hardware were to become damaged, I wanted to limit the impact. A PC running the modestly powerful AMD 6770 and compiled Linux operating system. Linux was later abandoned due to hardware conflicts for Windows. After approximately 3 days of building, compiling, and downloading the Bitcoin blockchain, I was officially mining my own Bitcoin. Hindsight 2020. Purchased Bitcoin instead of mining equipment. Balance of 950 coins. Fast forward to 2013. BTC price, $5 to $1,100. The Butterfly Labs ASIC, application-specific integrated circuit, shocked the community. Gloom and doom abounded among the excitement of the potential. I pre-ordered 2 devices, But due to several manufacturing delays, I suspected they were burning the chips before delivery to maximize their profits. By the time they had arrived, the network difficulty was adjusted, and I barely recovered the investment. One device quit within months, and the other's performance was less than specified. I eventually shut it off as the power consumption was significantly greater than the reward after breaking even on my investment. Hindsight 2020. Purchased Bitcoin instead of mining. Balance of 1,100 coins. The rest, as they say, is history. I've tried almost every service, layer, and coin of any significance in the following years, perpetually drawn to the technology over the profit. I did later lose a significant sum in the BTC Gem bankruptcy, microloan service, and I saw some losses in the Bitfinex hack, 2016, but I managed to avoid the Mt. Gox hack of 2014 that wiped hundreds of millions. Mt. Gox required a lot of personal information that I wasn't comfortable sharing with a Japanese-based company, to my benefit, as it turned out. So, on the one hand, I potentially could have had a respectable Bitcoin balance of 1,100 coins, assuming I never spent any in the preceding years. Whereas on the other, it is entirely possible I would have left a portion, if not all, of those coins on Mt. Gox and therefore had lost the entire balance along with many others. Life has a funny way of working out. Total valuation of 1,100 coins today. $18,150,000 USD. Total valuation of 1,100 coins at all-time high. $75,667,000 USD. Chapter title: Regrets. Do I have any regrets? Surprisingly, no. I look at those numbers above with both amusement and shock. How far we've come in such a short period of time is impeccable. Looking back through my own timeline, I know I wouldn't have the original 1,100 coins today even if I did buy them. Circumstances, breakups, and momentary losses accumulated over that span. Or as I like to call it, life happened. Bitcoin today, BTC price at publication, $16,500. Bitcoin has evolved a lot since 2013, both in technology and public awareness. No longer is it relegated to the deep web of obscure and relatively unknown forums, but truly a highlight on the public radar. With speculation regarding Bitcoin's inclusion in even the newest Grand Theft Auto 6 installment in development, it truly has reached the cultural zeitgeist. Bitcoin today can be transacted both online and offline through all sorts of means, including paper wallets, Morse code, mesh networks, localized and private IPs, and even the Blockstream Bitcoin satellite, broadcasting to areas without internet access, a true testament to the power of this technology and its participants. Senator Warren, born 1949 of Massachusetts, has even remarked during congressional testimony as to the sheer volume of crypto-related media publications as it relates to this seemingly nascent space of technology. Politicians, given their job, tend towards a hyper-awareness of both media and media influence. For those of you who have looked into Bitcoin or even done heavy research, I'm not going to rehash the same old. If you don't know anything about Bitcoin, there are plenty of videos on YouTube in short and long formats to explain. That being said, here are a few things to consider about not only this topic but the future of these technologies. Chapter title: Layers of Bitcoin. Currently, Bitcoin has two official layers, Bitcoin Core and Layer 2, Lightning Network. The third layer of Bitcoin is in development relating to secured identification for future applications. Namely, the third layer of Bitcoin will give you, the user, full control over your personal data through encryption. Herein, you will have full control over not only who has access to your personal information, but also what information and when. Own Your Data is going mainstream, as I alluded to in my Apple Crumbled article previously. The fourth layer of Bitcoin, not yet in development, should hold some interesting promises for the future, but we will save that for another article. Truly a technology of evolution and a product of its core transmission, the Internet. Chapter title: 7 Layers of Bitcoin. This little tidbit was entirely plagiarized and stolen from Michael Saylor from his 26+ hour Saylor series of interviews on the What is Money podcast on YouTube. Not to be confused with the programming layers of Bitcoin above. For your consideration, Saylor's 7 Layers of Bitcoin. Number 1. Energy. Refers to the ability to transmit energy through the Internet through the proof-of-work algorithm, namely, by mining Bitcoin in a region with cheap and abundant power and transferring that Bitcoin to areas with expensive power. This indirectly creates a system of transferring energy without transmission lines. Number 2. Technology. This refers to the above, in that Bitcoin protocol is a system of layers with added features and developments that will further revolutionize our world. Number 3. Political. This topic is a little more nuanced, but imagined in terms of our political apparatus, voting, and systems. Number 4. Financial. Bitcoin and crypto have truly democratized our financial systems in terms of access to otherwise highly exotic products, such as futures contracts and margin trading. Number 5. Mining. The creation of billions worth of publicly and privately owned companies, manufacturing facilities, and all related infrastructure. Number 6. Spatial. This refers to the solutions Bitcoin offers geospatial, GIS industries and systems. Number 7. Technical temporal. Bitcoin is timeless. This is one of the crucial arguments Saylor makes regarding Bitcoin's ability to pass through time and an effect that inflationary systems are incapable of doing. Chapter title: General Lessons. Lesson 1. I never made a Mt. Gox account, and therefore, my balance was never at risk. Mt. Gox wanted far too much personal information for me to be comfortable, and was based out of Japan, making it legally dubious to engage. Therefore, if someone is asking too much from you, they better be handing you a check in return. Lesson 2. Not your keys, not your crypto. Never trust anyone with your private holdings. The only institutions I trust today are Binance and Coinbase, and not with my full balance. Do you? Our own research. Lesson 3. Easy gains is easy losses. If the interest rate offered is ridiculous, then the terms of providing that rate are equally ridiculous. Common sense prevails. Lesson 4. My rule with technology is that the first version of something is never the final version. That rule is violated when it comes to digital technologies, which can evolve over time. This was my most critical mistake. Lesson 5. Never tell anyone your crypto balance. Not friends and especially not family. They might laugh at you today, but they will come asking for some tomorrow. It's none of their business lest you become the future crypto dude in your region. Lesson 6. Never leave all your eggs in one basket, and spread out the risk, including across multiple hardware wallets and even manufacturers of hardware wallets if your balance is significant enough. Lesson 7. Always back up your private keys. Never make them digital or take a picture of them. Never trust any one person with your full key set. Always have backups of backups. Fires happen, and life happens. Lesson 8. If you are in a relationship or marriage of fewer than 15 years, hide your wallets if possible. Not my lesson, but a common one online. Lesson 9. Microloans are fun, but an external risk to these platforms is the underlying value of the currency. Currencies fail and have throughout all of history. Protect yourself. Lesson 10. Altcoins are fun to play with and speculate on, but very few of them have any value. I still remember reading forums about Peercoin and Feather Token, both of which were in the top 10. Ever heard of them? Of course not. They're dead, along with some suicidal investors who remortgaged their houses to buy more. Not joking. Bonus lesson. Faster and cheaper are not always a good thing, but sometimes actually hindrances that scare investors away and lead to greater problems. If someone tells you this next coin is better, distrust until you can prove otherwise using other metrics than faster or cheaper. Cheap money is lost fast. Signed, Dark Philosopher. For more content, including our trends analysis, see our Substack at darkphilosopher.substack.com or join the conversation on Twitter at Observer Trends. Be sure to join the community so you don't miss out on future articles. Thank you for listening, and good luck.